The Twits, Chapter 6. The Great Glue Painting begins. "This is the living room," announced Mugglewump. "The grand and glorious living room where those fearful, frumptuous freaks eat bird pie every week for supper." "Please don't mention bird pie again," said the roly-poly bird. "It gives me the shudders." "We mustn't waste time," cried Mugglewump. "Hurry up, hurry up. Now the first thing is this. I want everyone to paint sticky glue all over the ceiling. Cover it all, smear it in every corner." "Over the ceiling?" they cried. "Why the ceiling?" "Never mind why," shouted Mugglewump. "Just do as you're told and don't argue." "But how do we get up there?" they asked. "We can't reach." "Monkeys can reach anywhere," shouted Mugglewump. He was in a frenzy of excitement now, waving his paintbrush and his bucket and leaping all over the room. Come on, jump on the table, stand on the chairs, hop on each other's shoulders. Roly-Poly can do it flying. Don't stand there gaping. We have to hurry, don't you understand that? Those terrible Twits will be back any moment, and this time they'll have guns. Get on with it, for heaven's sake, get on with it." And so the great glue painting of the ceiling began. All the other birds who had been sitting on the roof flew in to help, carrying paintbrushes in their claws and beaks. There were buzzards, magpies, rooks, ravens, and many more. Everyone was splashing away like mad, and with so many helpers, the job was soon finished. "What now?" they all asked, looking at Mugglewump. "Aha!" cried Mugglewump. "Now for the fun. Now for the greatest upside-down trick of all time. Are you ready?" "We're ready," said the monkeys. "We're ready," said the birds. "Pull out the carpet," shouted Mugglewump. "Pull this huge carpet from out under all that furniture and stick it on the ceiling." "Onto the ceiling," cried one of the small monkeys. "But that's impossible, Dad." "I'll stick you on the ceiling if you don't shut up," snapped Mugglewump. "He's dotty," they cried. "He's balmy, he's batty, he's nutty, he's screwy." "He's wacky," cried the roly-poly bird. "Poor old Muggles has gone off his wump at last." "Oh, do stop shouting such rubbish and give me a hand," said Mugglewump, catching hold of one corner of the carpet. "Pull, you nitwits, pull!" The carpet was enormous. It covered the entire room from wall to wall. It had a red and gold pattern on it. It is not easy to pull an enormous carpet off the floor when the room is full of tables and chairs. "Pull!" yelled Mugglewump. "Pull, pull, pull!" He was like a demon, hopping round and telling everyone what to do. But you couldn't blame him. After months and months of standing on his head with his family, he couldn't wait for the time when the terrible Twits would be doing the same thing. At least that's what he hoped. With the monkeys and the birds all pulling and puffing, the carpet was dragged off the floor and finally hoisted up onto the ceiling, and there it stuck. All at once the whole ceiling of the living room was carpeted in red and gold. The furniture goes up. "Now the table, the big table," shouted Mugglewump. "Turn the table upside down and put a dollop of sticky glue onto the bottom of each leg. Then we shall stick that on the ceiling as well." Hoisting the huge table upside down onto the ceiling was not an easy job, but they managed it in the end. "Will it stay there?" they cried. "Is the glue strong enough to hold it up?" "It's the strongest glue in the world," Mugglewump replied. "It's the special bird-catching, bird-killing glue for smearing on trees." "Please," said the roly-poly bird, "I've asked you before not to mention that subject. How would you like it if it was monkey pie that they made every Wednesday and all your friends had been boiled up and I went on talking about it?" "I do beg your pardon," said Mugglewump. "I'm so excited I hardly know what I'm saying. Now the chairs, do the same with the chairs. All the chairs must be stuck upside down to the ceiling and in their right places. Oh, do hurry up, everybody. Any moment now those filthy freaks are going to come rushing in with their guns." The monkeys, with the birds helping them, put glue on the bottom of each chair leg and hoisted them up to the ceiling. "Now the smaller tables," shouted Mugglewump, "and the big sofa, and the sideboard, and the lamps, and all the tiny little things, the ashtrays, the ornaments, and the beastly plastic gnome on the sideboard. Everything, absolutely everything, must be stuck onto the ceiling. It was terribly hard work. It was especially difficult to stick everything onto the ceiling in exactly its right place. But they got it done in the end. "What now?" asked the roly-poly bird. He was out of breath and so tired he could hardly flap his wings. "Now the pictures!" cried Mugglewump. "Turn all the pictures upside down, and will one of you, birds, please fly out onto the road and watch to see when those frumptious freaks are coming back?" "I'll go," said the roly-poly bird. "I'll sit on the telephone wires and keep guard. It'll give me a rest." The ravens swoop. They'd only just finished the job when the roly-poly bird came swooping in, screaming, "They're coming back! They're coming back!" Quickly the birds flew back onto the roof of the house. The monkeys rushed into their cage and stood upside down one on top of the other. A moment later, Mr. and Mrs. Twit came marching into the garden, each carrying a fearsome-looking gun. "I'm glad to see those monkeys are still up there, upside down," said Mr. Twit. "They're too stupid to do anything else," said Mrs. Twit. "Hey, look at all those cheeky birds still up there on the roof. Let's go inside and load our lovely new guns, and it'll be bang, bang, bang and bird pie for supper." Just as Mr. and Mrs. Twit were about to enter the house, two black ravens swooped low over their heads. Each bird carried a paintbrush in its claw, and each paintbrush was smeared with sticky glue. As the ravens wished over, they brushed a streak of sticky glue on the top of Mr. and Mrs. Twit's heads. They did it with the lightest touch, but even so the Twits both felt it. "What was that?" cried Mrs. Twit. "Some beastly bird has dropped his dirty droppings on my head." "Oh, mine too," shouted Mr. Twit. I felt it. "Oh, don't touch it," cried Mrs. Twit. "You'll get it all over your hands. Come inside and we'll wash it all off at the sink." "The filthy, dirty brutes," yelled Mr. Twit. "I bet they did that on purpose. Just you wait till I've loaded my gun." Mrs. Twit got the key from under the doormat where Mugglewump had carefully replaced it, and into the house they went. Join me next time for the final part of the Twits.